Hello, peoples of the internet. So today I am at my friend's house actually, and I have two big cats and a whole bunch of kittens holding this space. And we also have Indy in this space. So we have a lot of plants in this house, and we have some good cats, and Indy's a dog holding this space for us today. So there should be some magic in the house. And it's interesting that I'm here with the kittens and the mama cat, and there's a baby cat here as well. And I noticed the lights changing, so that's what's happening there. Because today I thought I would talk about information that I had received that the God Source had given me maybe 2 years ago. And the message was the feminine must come first. And what it was talking about is that particularly in this time period that we need to awaken the feminine. And in a prior video, I was talking about that I had done a clearing one time, and down in my belly was this tiny crying being, and it was all hunched over and just tiny. And I had said, "Who are you?" And it said, "I'm the feminine." And that's how we had, as a collective society, almost destroyed her. So she was almost non-existent. And a society that destroys the feminine is a society that no longer exists. And so the God Source was telling me, because this universe is feminine, that literally the feminine comes first. So there's that idea of the chicken and the egg. What comes first? Does man come before the female that births man? And it turns out, no, the womb must come first. The feminine must come first. And in sides of a being, so we have the feminine on the left side and we have the masculine on the right side. And the feminine side, which is the heart. So the heart is slightly to the left. And the heart is the first part of the human being that's created in the womb. So literally the feminine comes first. And it also means that the feminine aspect is compassion and slowing down and love. And so love must come first. Compassion must come first. Slowing down into safety and consciousness must come first. And then action, which is the masculine, comes second. And so when we slow down and we love ourselves into wholeness, then we can make conscious action. Then we can access creativity, and we can access the soul's alignment. We can access alignment, which will allow us to act from a place that's not just good for us, but it's good for all things around us. It's good for the humans, the plants, the animals, the air, the earth, the water. It's good for the whole universe. It's good for the God Source. And so that is the information of the feminine must come first. And I think that it's interesting because the exact opposite is true in the slavery matrix. And that's the dog. He's scratching. What are you digging, a little nest? You making the feminine come first? You good boy. In the slavery matrix, the feminine's at the bottom of the triangle, and she's getting squished, or she's holding up the rest. And in a slavery matrix, the feminine is attacked. It is looked at as lesser than, and it's not respected or validated or honored. And you will see things in a disconnected universe like rape and violence, abuse. And that is part of the destruction of the feminine. And that's part of a forgetting that the female comes first, and honoring and respecting the birth process and the creative process. So when the God Source was giving me this download, it also said that the feminine is the creator being. She's literally, she births, she creates a baby in her belly. She's got the ability to create, which is the gift of the feminine. The feminine is also a doorway or a pathway between the non-form realm and the form realm. And in that way, she does have a gift of creation. And so when we slow down into her space, we're able to access that creativity. And the masculine's gift is taking action on the creativity. So the masculine waits for the creativity. It waits for the conscious creation, and then it takes the action. And that's the way we're meant to exist as beings. And so in this time period, the females are doing the work first. So we are awakening first. And it's necessary because some of the wound spaces that I've been talking about in the last couple months is the mothering wound. And if our mothers never learn to mother themselves in a way of loving themselves into wholeness, then neither the males or the females are going to be able to access that unconditional love at their core that we were built to access. And so the females actually have to clear those wound spaces first so that the males and the females can access that depth love that the barrier has been inside the females. And it's her mothers and grandmothers and grandmothers that weren't able to access that deep mothering, that unconditional love for the body and for the self in all ways. And when we begin to awaken that level of love inside of ourselves, then we can begin to share it around us. So this is where we begin to mother the external realm in a different way. And because it's a female wound, because it's passed down through the females ancestrally. So when you're a female, you're born with the wound. And the males have the wound as well, but it's the females that can access that level of love that then teaches the males to access their levels of love. And so I'm sure there's specific wounds that the men also, or the masculines or the males have to clear for the growth and the expansion of the collective. Like for one, I do know that it's the male's job to clear, like to forgive that level of violence to the feminines and to the females, that the level of disrespect and looking down on and physical and sexual violence of the past. And I know that in some ways, all of us have been in both males and females in past lifetimes. We've been in animals, we've been in insects, we've been in the plant kingdom, so in some ways it's all of our work, but it depends on the body that you're in this lifetime. And I happen to be in a female body in this lifetime, so this is specifically my work, just like the men that are in the male body in this lifetime is their job to do the forgiveness of humanity for all of humanity. And I understand that's a really hard job. That's, very painful to access for all of time and all of humanity. Like, I feel for the men in this time period, and that's their job, because they weren't the ones that created it for thousands of years. But just like the females in this lifetime, we weren't the ones that created the pain spaces in us either, but we are here to break those chains of reaction. And I am hopeful for all of us. I already see some sacred masculine belief systems and conversations and owning of these spaces, and like apologies and forgivenesses. And I think that's awesome and amazing. And that's all of us healers that came into this time period to make these big changes, because all of us want to do it differently. We've had enough of the slavery matrix. We're awakening out of the slavery matrix. We're beginning to remember freedom, and we're making choices, conscious choices, not to repeat these patterns. And so it's not the women's job to love the men, it's the men's job to love themselves. And it's the women's job to love themselves. So it's each of our jobs to love ourselves. And in the past, there was some heavy programming that it was the female's job to alter herself, to hold the pain spaces for the male, and to alter herself so that the male could feel better. And we have those internal programs as well. So we've been doing that for the masculine and the feminine within, but it's the time period to be not doing that anymore. It's the time period to take back our own power and to alchemize our own spaces and to hold loving space for the other as they do their work of clearing these wounds and learning to love themselves into wholeness, so that we both can come together in responsible, aligned ways of existing. And nobody can do anybody else's work. We're all here to do our own individual work, and we're all here to do the ancestral work of the being that you're inside of. So in this lifetime, I'm inside Lisa, and it's my job in this lifetime to clear the ancestral woundedness of this body and this genetic lineage. And so each of us are here to do that for the body that we're in. And we're all here to do it for the collective healings as well. So different people are doing collective healings. From what I can understand, I'm a collective healer. So for me, it's hard to grasp that there's people that aren't here to do the collective healings. But from the work that I've done with other energy workers, I understand that they aren't necessarily here to do that collective work. And that's okay, because we're here to do our own work first. And that's the feminine first. So the feminine first is doing the internal work first. So the masculine is the external and the feminine is the internal. So again, the feminine must come first. We are here to do the internal work first. And when we change the internal, it changes the external. So the way we treat ourselves is the way that we treat other people. And so when we begin to bring the compassion into our own selves first and love ourselves into wholeness first and give ourselves safety first, and we hold loving space for our own selves first, we begin to hold that loving space for the others. And we recognize that they're out there doing their own thing in their own time, on their own journey, and that they have their own soul with their own agreements and their own karma and their own journeys and their own lessons. And we begin to hold that loving space, allowing them to do their work in their own time. This is one of the cats in the cat energy. His name is Blue, and he's a kitten. He's only under a year old. And that's him here, and he's going to hold some good space for us. So thank you, Blue. Thank you. You're a good boy. There's a boy holding the energies for the masculine. So he's coming in to hold some of that masculine energy. And because we all have feminines and masculines inside of us, like if we have a hate for the males, then really you have a hate for your masculine within. And also, like I was saying, a lot of us have had past lifetimes as men and women. And so if you're hating on the men, you're hating on something that you've been in time. And so it's really, at the end of the day, the feminine must come first, love must come first, compassion must come first. So number one, we need to have compassion for our own selves first, and then we can hold that loving compassion for them out there, recognizing that their work is not our work, and all we're meant to do is to hold loving space for them to complete their work. And holding hate is really, it's just going to make you pay a price. And like the God source has been showing me recently, the best thing you can do is just don't care, right? Like, that's not my work. I don't have to care. I don't have to give my fucks to it. You know, I'm going to hold my life force frequency inside me, and I'm going to use my life force frequency for things that matter, like creating joy. And that it's not my job to hold hate either. Like, that's you're going to pay the price for holding hate in your body. And you're better off going down into that space of hate and alchemizing that out of your mind, body, spirit, and soul. And knowing that, yeah, we have been wronged. Females, the feminine, have been wronged. We're still being wronged. There's still not equal pay. There still isn't equal respect. We're still being expected to change our bodies for the man's sake and to dress certain ways for the masculine. This idea that I was talking about professionalism, right? And professionalism has nothing to do with the way we're dressed or the way we look. It has to do with your knowledge and wisdom that you carry and your skills and your gifts. It has nothing to do. I'm the same person in pajamas as I am in a blouse, and really, I don't owe anybody wearing any certain kind of clothes. I get to choose what I wear in this lifetime. It's part of my own uniqueness and part of my own unique path. So I understand having anger and having, I guess it's righteous anger, really, that we have at the core for having been programmed in this way. But the males have been equally programmed. We've all been programmed. And so they've been following a program. And it is the toxic mother actually continued the program with the way that she parented. And part of that is probably because, that there was toxic masculines in the household. And so she had to parent a certain way. And again, mass forgivenesses, quantum forgivenesses. So like, I'm so sorry that happened on the earth plane. And I'm so sorry that happened to our ancestral lineages. And I'm so sorry that that's still happening today. And I'm sorry that the feminine must come first and that we're awakening first. I'm sorry that these things happen here. And I forgive it, and forgive it some more. And I clear it from my mind, body, spirit, and soul, because I don't want to hold that inside me. I really just don't want to care. I don't want to give it any cares. I'm not giving it any of my life force frequency. And I'm saving my life force frequency to heal myself, to access these shadow spaces, to live joy and peace, to stand in my boundaries, to support my own truth, and to support my own choices. And I choose to put my frequency into that, my sacred energy, my limited life force frequency into those spaces, so that I can live a good life, because I deserve to live a good life. And I'm not going to let anybody's mindsets prevent me from living a good life. And remember, the toxic empath picks up on what people think about them. And then their job in the past was to alter themselves so that the others could feel comfortable. And we're not doing that anymore. We're done that now. I'm not going to waste my frequency on that. I'm not going to waste my precious life force on that. I'm going to get behind and love myself into wholeness and encourage myself to live exactly the life that I want to live. And if I can sense somebody's feeling, I have a conscious choice. I can slow down into myself and I can say, it's not my job to care. It's my job to care about myself. It's my job to have compassion for myself. It's my job to heal myself and to recognize that when I care, I'm literally, this is that judgment piece. I put a judgment down and then I'm thinking it's my job to make sense of it, or it's my job to change it, or it's my job to heal it. And in truth, it's not my job to do anything with it. It's my job to heal my own self first. It's my job to tend to my own self first. And when we do that, what we're left in the space of when we're accessing our light and we're accessing our wholeness and we're accessing our alignment, and I'm choosing, discerning what to spend my life force on, I can put prayers out. So I can put prayers out that the men awaken, that the men are able to heal themselves in this lifetime, that they're able to, collapse the programming of the slavery matrix where they benefited the most, so that they can begin to live good, happy, aligned existences and have true joy by loving themselves into wholeness and loving their wound spaces into wholeness, so that they can get free, so that everyone else can be freed. But whether or not the masculines are free, I'm going to be freeing myself. And that's what a lot of the feminines are doing in this time period. We are freeing ourselves. And internally, my feminine and my masculine are freeing themselves. And once they free themselves, I enter wholeness. And from wholeness, I can do these prayers and manifestations. I can collapse timelines because I'm a magician, bitch. I can collapse timelines where we all awaken and we're all free and we all heal ourselves and we all heal our lineages, so that we can all act in alignment, which is in best and highest well-being of the plants and the animals and the air and the earth and the water and this planet and this galaxy and this universe and the multiverses, and that all things benefit and all things grow and all things have access to mothering themselves into wholeness. And from the mothering into wholeness, they're able to access their own creativity and their own support of their own uniqueness. And I can get behind that. I can put my life force into those spaces. So let me just check in and see if there's anything else that wants to be shared in regards to the feminine coming first. Also, that's the body. So remember, the masculine's the head and the feminine is the body, and the body must come first. So that's the heart. That's the heart. That's the soul. So the seed of the soul is not actually the heart. It's right below the heart. And that's how I can perceive it. That's where I can feel it. That's where my internal sun shines. And my internal sun is the part of me that's fully connected to the God source. And so that part of me is down in between the rib cage. It might be the low heart, it might be down in that area. It's down in the chest. So I am practicing existing in that space. So some people are like, the mind, you exist in the mind. The mind's the head. And that's not actually where our center point of existence is. Our center point of existence is that the space of the internal sun. It's what I also call the healing center. It's our access to the God source. And so that's where my center point of reference is. That's where my center point of self, that's where I access the creativity. And we're actually meant to sit in that space. That is where we're meant to exist from within. So it's not in the head. That was the old way of existing, and it's a lie. And so we're meant to access the body first. And part of accessing the body first is us accessing that our connection to our angel. So to our guardian angel, that connection point is in the belly. It's the umbilical. That's how we're connected to the angel. So when we connect into the angel first, we connect into the guidance, the higher self guidance. and we connect into the creativity of the universe, the infinite potential, and the center point of reference, and the heart's down there as well. So all of that must actually come before the head brain. So the stomach brain comes before the head brain, and the stomach brain is how we connect to the guardian angel, but it's also how we bring in information from the external realm. So frequencies come in from the external realm in through the stomach brain, which is our feminine brain, and it doesn't lie. It tells the truth. Frequencies tell the truth. Versus the head brain, it's based off data. It's a data brain. And so it can lie without lying. So it can say 70% of the time, this is the truth. That's Indy. He's also holding the space for us today. So yeah, the head can lie without lying. So it can say turn left, but there's a car accident left, whereas the stomach brain's going to say don't go left. It's not the right way to go, because it's reading the frequencies of the now moment. And so the feminine must come first. So so I'm just going to check in and see if there's anything else. I think it's pretty good. So I'm just going to do a release of the old belief systems, the old modes of functioning, the old ways of existing, the old way of situating ourselves in the body, and the old ways of the old belief systems and the old choice making of the past, which was the separated self. I can mention that too. I can't remember if I mentioned that in the last 2 videos, but that's a piece of information that's been coming in for me lately. And it's saying now is the time to release the old ancestors that acted from the head. The old ancestors that acted based off of the external realm first. So they made choices based off the external realm. And so they're going to teach us to make those same choices in the now moment. So they're going to guide us to make those choices from the head. And those are kind of our memories in our bones. And the God source is saying we need to let that go. We need to free them. We need to tell them, thank you for helping us up until now. And you were right about a lot of the things in the past. But my center point of reference is connected to the God source, and they didn't have that access. And so, yes, their choices were probably the right choices for them in that time period. But my choice, I am the only one that can know my choices from my soul. And my soul is the safest choices I can make. They're made out of alignment. And I need to put those choices first. The priority is those choices first, and that I can trust them. So they're like, don't make that choice. Don't be unique. You're going to get attacked. Don't speak truth. You're going to get killed. Don't stand up, to society, because you're not going to belong and you're not going to get food. Those are the things that they told us in the past. And they were right in that time period, or else we wouldn't have survived today. That's how they made choices to survive today. But I can't align with those choices any longer. I have to align with the truth. And the truth says, my truth, my center point of reference, my soul says, speak the truth. Be unique. Don't own the masculine stuff. Stand in your truth, in your power. Take back your power and collapse those old programs of control of the external realm. You're in control of your own self, and you get to make choices from your own center point of reference, and you're the one that's going to love yourself into wholeness, and you don't have to depend on them. You need to trust and believe in yourself, and because it's not myself, it's everything at once. When I'm making choices from the center point of reference and from my center of self, and from that internal sun, from that space, the seat of the soul, which is also, I believe, the sacred heart. So it's in the same spotish as the sacred heart, which isn't your real heart. It's the sacred heart, is your connection to the God source. And it's down here in the feminine body. It's like where that eyeball opened on that downward triangle, the feminine eye. It's down there. And we can believe it because it's telling us the truth. And it's acting from alignment, not just from my best and highest well-being and the best and highest well-being of the humans around me, which it is, it's also in the best and the highest well-being of the plants, animals, air, earth, water, of this whole universe. And so it's the only choice. It's the only choice to make in this time period. And I'm the only one that can access it. And I'm the only one that can feel the truth of it. And I awaken it by practicing listening to it, by practicing dropping down into it and saying, what's my best truth? And I can only get there when I first establish a relationship with the God source. And I had a relationship established with the God source for at least 8 years before I began to access my feminine I, and dropping down into my body and having a healthy relationship with my body just through the guidance of the God source. And so we learn to listen to ourselves by learning to listen to the God source first, and discerning the difference between our sacred voices and that tiny broken ego self of the past. And part of that is actually the ancestors of the past. And so they're the programmed selves. They were programmed in that time period and they were helping. But we have healed ancestors that can help us today that have freed themselves, I guess, through the work on the other side. And not through the bones that has the old memories that we're clearing in this time period. So I know I went off path there, but that's the information that wanted to come in. So Source God Mother, I acknowledge and accept all this information that we're speaking of today, and I choose to fully and completely clear it. I neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize these old wound spaces, these old modes of functioning, these old ways of existing, these trigger points, these mindsets, these internal programs and external programs, these internal dynamics and external dynamics, contracts, binds, barriers, cords of the old way, so that we can begin to CHORD with one another, get into an alignment of frequencies instead of connection points of codependency, and that we clear all of that now through all quantum fields of existence. We neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize those old modes of functioning back to dust. And we awaken the new, and we reconfigure the new for each unique blueprint, disintegrating the old and awakening and integrating the new. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all drama, karma, trauma, flow the dharma, neutralize, purify, cleanse, and heal from the cellular, energetic, and magnetic structures, and from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds, pulling all of that through to oneness, to wholeness, to peace, to truth, to love. Welcoming those helper frequencies and those helper beings into these spaces to continue to help to guide us, to heal us, to hold loving space for us, to help us to access these spaces so that we can utilize these spaces as we move forward in these good ways. Releasing through the children and up through the ancestral webs, past lifetimes and their webs. See how I am healing the past lifetimes and their webs, and whomever I was in those past lifetimes, and forgiving that I didn't know what I know today in those past lifetimes, and helping to heal the wound spaces of the masculine and the feminine in this time period by clearing our own ancestral lineages and our past lifetimes and their lineages, doing some of that work for the collective. And through this universe and through the multiverses and on all sides of the veil. So that's me also doing the ancestral work, and that we clear and heal those the work of the old ancestors, and we recognize that they were trying to help us in that time period, but disconnected belief systems aren't going to work today, and we allow them to be free. We free them, and we free ourselves in the process to be able to clear any barriers or binds to fully and completely accessing our truth. So what I was noting is there was a bit of a fear program above fully accessing our truth, and we take back our power from that fear program, and we disintegrate that wound back to dust that was sort of created or initiated by our ancestors, as a protection mechanism from accessing our truth in time periods when it wasn't safe to access our truth. But it's safe in the now. It's actually a necessity in the now, and it's only going to work into the future because our frequencies are changing in our external realm, and they're changing us and our modes of functioning, and the Mother Earth is already shifting herself. So we are not going to be able to function in the same way. We're going to have to shift with her. And she's shifting now because it's the right timing and we're in the right frequency of space to begin to make these changes. And we want that, and we choose that for all of us, including her. And we quantum forgive the old modes of functioning, the old ways of existing. We quantum forgive the toxic mother and the toxic masculine. We quantum forgive that we were stuck in our heads, that we were not respecting, honoring, or living within our bodies, or healing our bodies, or prioritizing the bodies or the feminine in the old way of existing. But we're doing that now. And we forgive it, and we clear it, including pain spaces in the body that are arising in these spaces as we awaken the feminine. And that includes heart, that's lungs, ancient wounds. It's the receiving heart, which is our back heart. So spine, the space, what we call the angel space, the wing space, it's in between the shoulder blades. Shoulders, bones, we clear the bones, we free the bones, the connective tissues. The boy dog is coughing and puking. That's one way to actually clear energy. So he's doing the work for the masculine. He's puking up that energy. He's letting go what's no longer going to sit in the stomach, what we can no longer hold in the bodies. And pain, oftentimes when you clear pain, there's like a puking sensation. It's like, you got to let it out. You got to let it go. And we're not going to hold it anymore. We're clearing it. We're letting it go. And God, please help the dog to clear it from his own mind, body, spirit, and soul. And we just give so much gratitude to the animal species that are helping us in this time period. And we purify back to the God source origins, welcoming those healed helpers, those doctors, healers, and nurses in all realms of existence to continue to purify and alchemize these spaces and drop us into those original blueprints, those original codes, and to continue these healings until completed. And we give so much gratitude and thankfulness to the helper beings that have been here with us, helping us, guiding us, including in our bones and the old ancestors, including the fully and completely healed ancestors, the elements, the elementals, the angels, the beings of light. Thank you for helping us, guiding us, loving us, holding loving space for us, reminding us when we need it the most, continuing to be with us and speak with us, even though we were disconnected and we weren't hearing them. They didn't stop trying, and they're here with us today. And when we're open to it, we begin to hear them, and we begin to access their love and their harmonic frequencies and their codes and their guidance, because they want to be part of it. They want to be part of our changes. They want to be part of our choice making into the futures. And they want to be part of our communications. So yeah, of course we want that. And we awaken that within us as we remember who we truly are. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields. And we're opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this and breathe. Yeah, and they're just reminding me of the mum cat's energies. There's 4 kittens, which is actually a whole number for the Aboriginal peoples. It's the medicine wheel. And just like she's saying that she's learning to mother in a new way as we're learning to mother in a new way. And she's just offering some of that mothering frequency and some of that like mother's milk plasma. And the reminders of the sacred nature of being a mother, and the sacred nature of even mothering our own selves into wholeness, which we all have a right to do. And it's part of us making our own flower shine, sparkle, our sparkle first. And it's important because a healthy mother works on her own self first. So the feminine must come first. So I'm just going to also do the energetic clearing. So Source Godmother, please immediately evolute our systems. And as you do this for us, do it for everything within my heart space, as far out as my heart frequencies can access. And I'm actually in an apartment building. So my heart space is like what we're about to offer is going to be in a giant circle around us, like a globe shape, a bubble shape, right? And just offering these healings to all living beings, plants, animals, air, earth, water, that are open to these clearings and healings. We ask that you immediately evolute all of us for best and highest well-being of the systems within us and the systems around us, including those frequencies of our feet, initiating and upgrading those frequencies of our feet and allowing us to really root ourselves to the insides of our feet, to root down into the insides of our feet. And as you do that, please also root our red chakra into our earth star. It's literally like the roots of plants, and we root down into that earth star, or into that universal star, and into that multi-universal star, so into the multiverses, and sharing healing codes, love, harmonic frequency, and life force frequencies, and fractalizing that light through our mind, body, spirits, and souls, so that we all may grow, shift, alter, and evolute in oneness. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're opening to receive for best and the highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this and breathe. So it's not because I'm a female that I put the feminine first. It's literally information that's coming from the God source that the feminine must come first. And it has to do with our universe being feminine in nature. It has to do with us being creator beings. It just happens that I'm a female in this body, in this time. So, and not even time, but movement, because time isn't even real. It's all movement. So in this moment, I am a female. And so, so people kind of assume that because I'm a female, I'm putting the feminine first, or as a feminist, I'm putting the female first. But that's not the case. It's God source information that's reminding us of the true way of this universe. And it doesn't mean the masculines don't have a role, and it doesn't mean the masculines aren't important. They are, because the masculine is also part of God. So the masculine and the feminine are equal parts of God. So they both have roles to play. Action is as important as love, but love must come first. Creativity must come first. Consciousness must come first. And alignment. Consciousness is alignment. Alignment must come first. So that's my 2 cents. And so we're just going to check in. If you need to ground to your feet, please ground me to my feet now, so that you have all the information, knowledge, wisdom, healing codes you need. If you need extra love, please trigger my vagus nerve now, which is our feminine nerve, which automatically brings your body love. It brings your body compassion, hormones that trigger your calming of the body. So let me know, how do you take this information? Did you already know this information? Have you been getting your own messages in your own way? Please feel free to share your information below, your messages below. What did you get from this? If you got more than I'm speaking of, please leave it below so that we can share the information that's coming in with our soul families, and so that we can all grow. If you got visions while I shared this information, please share it below. If you have ideas for future videos, please let me know. And outside of that, I'm just gonna love you and leave you. And may we all find the peace that we're looking for. And may we all love ourselves into wholeness and share that beautiful, loving essence throughout this universe. And loving yourself doesn't mean always being nice. Humans are angry sometimes. We're upset sometimes. We're frustrated. We're annoyed. But it means loving yourself into wholeness before taking action on the feelings. So that's called aligned existing. So sometimes we're going to have to set a hard boundary, or we're going to have to say no, or we're going to say, I don't like that. And we all have a right to that experience. It's part of being a human. And so loving yourself first doesn't mean all love and light. It means accessing your truth. And the Sacred Mother is no. So sometimes we're going to have to say no. And sometimes when we can say no, we're going to find the yes. So you say no to find the yes. So what's the yes? It comes after the no. And yeah, if you wonder about that, watch my earlier videos, because we have videos on those topics in the past. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I hope that this video nourished you. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.